Hey, in a previous video that's doing really well, it's drywall tips number 1, I pointed out how mixing up the mud and adding a little bit of water can make all the difference. Well, there's other mistakes that novices often make. So in this series, I'm gonna do 4 or 5 or 6 different videos showing you guys some of the mistakes you commonly make and how to correct them. So let's get to mistake number 2 right after this. Okay, I've seen a lot of mistakes that novices make when you're doing this, and I'm trying to help you guys get better. I hear comments all the time about how I'm helping you a lot. Makes me feel good because that's what I'm doing this for. Pass on my skills. I'm 60 years old. I've been doing this a long time. I'm one of the best. I'm 5-star rated on Google, and I know what I'm doing, and so I see some of the common mistakes you guys make, and what I'm going to talk about today is kind of multifaceted. Let's start with this. Okay, one of the reasons I think a lot of you do it wrong is you watch the wrong videos. Now, I'm not trying to criticize anybody, but honestly, some people need criticized. If you're going to learn how to do drywall, you need to learn from a pro. Let me ask you this, if you were gonna learn how to do heart surgery, you go to school, you study for 4 years, do you want to study under a plumber who watched it on TV one time? That's kind of what you're doing if you learn from these amateurs who are teaching amateurs. They don't really know what they're doing. They're making big mistakes and then they're passing that on to you as if they're experts. And I'm going to show you what the problem is. They can pull it off on camera and they look like they're great, but they're not. And I'm going to show you why. So stick around in this video, don't leave. It's really important that you understand this. Now, one of the videos out there by Lowe's is a crappy video. It shows this product right here, and it shows it being put on with just a little 1-inch putty knife. Well, that's because they sell a drywall repair kit with a little mesh patch thing and this Drydex, and it comes with this little putty knife. Well, that's partly because you got this little tub. You can't exactly get a big knife into it. Well, there's a bunch of things wrong with that. Not so much the product. I've never used this. I bought this just for you guys. I'm gonna do some other videos on it, but this is called Drydex, and it basically comes out pink and dries white so you know when it's dry. Well, you know what? If you use regular drywall mud, it goes on yellow and it dries white. You don't really need that pink. It's a gimmick, but that's not the important thing here. The important thing is they're showing you to use the wrong tool. So let me explain. Let me get this out of the way. Let's just do a little demonstration here of kind of what they show you. We're gonna pretend we're doing a little patch right here. So we're gonna simulate a repair here with a little bit of mesh tape, and I'm just gonna stick it on. Yeah, that's good enough. It's a little dusty. I've been sanding over here on another video. And then they have you, see, it doesn't want to stick good when you've been sanding. Plus this stuff's really too thick. Wow. No wonder they have you doing basically like this, like you saw in the video there, and then sand it smooth. Guys, it doesn't work like that. That's a terrible way to do it. Now, is the product terrible? Well, honestly, this feels like crap to me. It's really gummy, sticky, thick. I have had this sitting here a year, but I really don't think that's it. Let's examine one thing. This says spackling. Spackling and drywall mud, to a pro, that's not the same. We do not spackle. Painters spackle, and that's not a bad thing. It's just to say that, let's say you got that little nick right there. You want to fix that? That's spackling. That's how you use this product. And for that thick, it works great. For this, it sucks, but let me show you how to go ahead and make that work better. Let's put a little more mud on here, and my God, that's thick and gummy, but I think we can make it work anyway. So now, if I was trying to do this with this narrow knife, could I make it look good? It would be a struggle, but yeah, I could probably make it look a lot better. Let's start by feathering the outside edge here. We always want to do that. And then I would start troweling it a little bit smoother, but you see it's too narrow. So there's the problem. You guys are trying to fix an 8-inch repair with a 3-inch knife, and you get that. It doesn't work as good. Now let me show you this solution. Go buy you a knife that's a little wider than the repair you're gonna do. In this case, this is a 12-inch knife. Now because that's so gummy, I'm gonna wet my knife. You don't normally need to do this, but that is so dry and gummy. I'm gonna have to push really hard to get this to work, but let's just do it like that. Now notice how in one pass, look at that. That is way better. So the key is to remember when you're doing something beyond putting a little hole, you're trying to float it out. And whenever you float out drywall mud, you want to float it out wider than the repair. Like if I was fixing a little hole, say a doorknob size hole, my mud would be about 8 to 10 inches wide. It's got to go wider than the repair. And then you've got to float it out. Now don't leave yet, I'm going to show you that important point. So this knife is easily wider, and then you want to just put it up here. Like if this wasn't so thick, you wouldn't have to push so hard. Lean it over at about a 45-degree angle, put pretty good pressure. If you can see on the GoPro, I'm bending my knife, and the more you lean it over, the less you're gonna take off, which is kind of what you wanna do here. And you just go across it, and it just smooths everything out. Leaves it so much prettier. Now let me show you why so many of them other channels make it look like they know what they're doing when they don't. So let's just say, that's pretty rough. Now I'm going to turn off one light here. So I'm going to zoom in on that just a little bit. They don't do this on these videos, so this isn't the norm, but let's just zoom in a little bit there. And if you look at that, I bet you on camera, other than this edge out here, it probably looks decent, and that's actually really rough. Okay, so what the point is lighting is critical. When we're doing drywall finishing and we want to see if our work is coming out good, we often side light it, because if you have a window right over there, or a lamp sitting right there, or a light up above, it's going to give it that harsh angle. And if it is, I want to know that, because I got to do a little more work. If you have, like the other day I did a job where it was a bathroom wall, and this was the wall, there was a window above it, and really dim lighting in the whole bathroom. That will hide a multitude of sins, because the lighting was favorable. That's what we call it. Instead of being critical, when lighting shines pretty much straight at something, like we've got lights right there and right there, it's shining straight at. That's the case in most videos. It makes the work look a lot better than it is. Now let me show you, I'll prove that. Just hang on one second. Okay, so now what I've done is I've turned off all my lights, and I actually had lights overhead, light right there, a light right there, and a light right there. I've turned them all off except for this light. Let me show you what you're actually seeing here. This is a light with a grid in it so that I can focus it so it's shining right down the wall. Now you should be able to see the roughness in this finish a lot better. We'll probably zoom in a little bit here and show you, but this is still really rough. But again, with this tool, nice wide tool here, clean blade, if it hasn't set up too much, you can see it dragging a little bit now. That's why I wet my knife. It has set up too much, but we'll try it again here. So that smoothed it out a lot more. The edges aren't going to smooth out. It's been sitting and drying too long, but that smoothed it out a lot more, as you saw a second ago. But let me try something here. We'll get a little more moisture in it. And see if we can bring it back from the dead here. Okay, so you can see this floats it out a whole lot better. So that's basically it. That's mistake number 2, is not using the right tool, trying to do it with too narrow. The dry decks itself, I wouldn't use it for any repair like this. Save that for spackling. All right, stop the presses. I can't do that. That pink crap, honestly, I think that's garbage. I may try buying some again one day and test out, see if it's fresh, maybe it's better, but usually if mud's a little thick, you can thin it down and make it work better. That would be, to me, like thinning down bubble gum. Somebody setting off fireworks out here, thank you. I'm not gonna demonstrate with that. I can't do it, that is crap. So let's just start kind of over here. I'm just gonna quickly put some mud on the wall and show you how I can smooth it out a lot better. Okay, so again, you guys usually, you kind of wanna overwork it and put it on like this and try and smooth it out. And it's just, I've seen it, you know, I'm exaggerating it because I know how to put it on smooth, but let's just say you guys do it like that. Well, even if you smooth it out a little bit, it usually comes out rough, but I'm gonna make it extra rough here for a reason, to show you how good a wide knife can be. Let's go with a 12. Now you could get by with a 10 if you wanna save money, just go with a 10, but usually you want one that's wider than the repair area. Now we got it feathered. I always use the same side, so I put a screw in the back of the knife, but just gonna lay that knife down at about a 45 or even closer to where your knuckles are almost dragging into mud. This knuckle right here would almost be dragging into mud, but you don't want that to happen or you're gonna mess it up. So put it about here, put good pressure where you're actually bending your knife a little bit, pull, and look. We can take that nasty looking mess you guys were making and turn it into that. So hey, I'm putting together a whole series. Like I said, there's gonna be about 7 so far. So be sure and subscribe, click that thumbs up, and hit the bell icon after you hit the subscribe. That way you get notified. But even more importantly, if you wanna learn how to improve your skills from little tips like this, I'm gonna put a playlist at the end of this video, and it's going to link you to that whole series of 1 through however many I do. And that'll help you out a lot. Now, as of right now, this is video number 2, so you may only see 2 videos depending on when you watch this, but I will be adding to it. And I think it'll help you a lot. So I wanted to say thanks for stopping by. As always, I really appreciate you guys. I really enjoy hearing your stories about how I'm helping you. That's what I'm here for. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Take care, everybody. Hey, everybody, meet my assistant, Hazel. She helps me out in the shop a lot. Don't you, girl?